Time for business now with Nona Peltier. Nona, Reserve Bank, as we heard there in the headlines, has held the official cash rate 1.75%. But what's the next move likely?
Well, okay, so that the rate has been held at 1.75% isn't a surprise. But the negative tone, the concern that was raised by the Reserve Bank was somewhat surprising to the market. That wasn't necessarily priced in, and so we saw a significant fall in the value of the currency, keeping in mind, of course, that it was quite strong. So it's now, about 68 cents, just when I looked a little while ago. And that's against the US dollar. Now, that might seem, wow, that's a big, huge drop. I think it was like 1.6%, which is a fairly good whack. But at the same time, we saw our share market rise, I think 1.3%. So that was a huge rise up. And so we've seen the inverse happening. As soon as people thought, oh my goodness, the Reserve Bank might cut interest rates, let's put our money into shares and out of interest. And so that's what we saw, quite a big shift this afternoon. So people moving around their investments to reflect that. So what's going to happen from here? Look, the global economic conditions have deteriorated. We've seen that it's happening in Europe, it's happening in Australia, it's happening in China, it's happening in the United States. The U.S. Federal Reserve recently went from talking about raising interest rates, as you know, we've talked about this lots of times, to saying, oh, okay, we're not going to raise rates. Some of the global economic indicators point to even a rate cut in the United States. That's how bad things have got internationally, and very quickly. So there's a lot at play here. The trade conditions are one thing. We've talked about that. All these things now are not just things we can talk about. We can now look around the world and see them starting to play out. And so the Reserve Bank is getting ahead of that. Will they cut rates the next time we have a monetary policy statement? I don't think so. That's not what the market is expecting. And the reason why is that we're on April 1st, we're going to have a committee. And that committee is going to be wanting to look at, the information before the Reserve Bank. A decision is unlikely, of course. That depends, I guess, on what happens globally. But more likely, we're going to see a rate cut maybe in August, possibly also November. And the market is starting to price that in, maybe 2 rate cuts this year. Luckily, the Reserve Bank has some movement there. We're at 1.75. We could move down to, say, 1.25. That would take us, we would expect to see that. However, the New Zealand dollar is still under pressure, and not downward pressure. It's got upward pressure behind it. And you can expect to see the Kiwi fly back again beyond 68 cents.
Interesting times, if you have said.
Yeah.
Mercury, okay, so they are stepping up in the area of renewable energy. But what exactly are they doing?
Well, they're going to develop a wind farm that they had consents for a while now. So they don't have to go and get any consents for this.
Yeah, because they're controversial, aren't they?
They are. But you know what? Mercury is into renewable energy. That's what they're all about. And they're going to build 33 wind turbines on its site in Palmerston North. Now, that's just an opener. They're going to spend $256 million on that. That's a significant initial investment. But overall, we're talking about $1 billion probably when it's all said and done, because they can build up to 60 on that site, and they can build another 53 on an adjacent site. And that's what they're looking to do. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to look at other investments. They have a wind farm investment that they recently took up in Australia. They bought a 20% stake in Tilt Renewables, which they own with Infratil. They're going to be developing that too. So yeah, watch this space. I think you're going to see Mercury doing a whole lot more than that. And the market was happy. They looked at the Mercury's announcement, and their share price rose 2.6%, up 10 cents to $3.93, which is, ahead of the market movement, which was also quite large. So overall, our index rose, 1.33%. That's 124 points up. That's the biggest uprise since the beginning of the year, to, of course, a record close of 9,699. Now, compared with the ASX 200, at 5 o'clock, it was down, and it was down when I just looked a few minutes ago as well. Now, our dollar trading at 68 US cents. So yesterday was 69, 95.7. Yesterday, we were at 97 Australian, and 51.6 pence versus 52.4 yesterday. That gives you an idea of how much we see movement. It's a big day in the market for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Nona. Appreciate you joining us. Nona Peltier with Business there.